Hey everybody, Pat Flynn here with my business partner, friend, and co-host today, Caleb Wojcik. Caleb, how are you, my man?
Doing good, doing good. Happy to talk
Summer
about
here.
YouTube. Start from scratch. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We got a lot to talk about, so we're going to dive right in. And I see a lot of people from all around the world. Montreal, I saw Poland earlier. We have Tennessee, Lynn, Luis, John, Louisa. Good News at Work. Welcome in Dale. And we have David as well. So many people in, which is great because YouTube is a hot topic. Obviously, Caleb and I have, almost 2 decades worth of experience combined between the two of us across several channels. And of course, this is an amazing opportunity to get in front of people, share your message, build your business, build that audience, and a bunch of other things. So, Caleb, why don't, for people who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself really quick and your channel and your experience with YouTube before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing here?
Yeah, so it's two-sided. I've been running my YouTube channel for about 10 years now, and it's a lot about video production, video editing, a little bit of entrepreneurship, tied in there. But also just sometimes I make videos about things I want to make videos about, like Teslas and things like that. So I've experimented with YouTube for about 10 years, but I've also been helping you on your channel
Mm-hmm.
for almost that long. Filming videos with you, editing videos with you, filming and editing all your courses as well. So we've been working together for a long time.
For a very long time. In fact, we've run events together. You and I have built a studio together, and now our kids are growing up together, which is pretty amazing. We've also invented a little product that many of you might have heard of called the Switch Pod, which is amazing. And if you haven't gotten your hands on one, I mean, we're not here to pitch you on it, but we're also not going to stop you from buying it. And Caleb and I both have on our channels talked about the journey of building a physical product and stuff too, which is really fun. That's the beauty of YouTube. It's a great way to document the things that you're doing. People love the behind the scenes and the stories that can kind of go along with that. Now, many of you know that I've also recently created a YouTube channel called Deep Pocket Monster, which has done really well. You can see there in just a few years, we are approaching 1 million subscribers and 205 million views. This thing was kind of on the side for a while, and now it's definitely picking up steam. Just came back from Florida. In fact, we had about 4,000 people from around the world come together as a community, and this was all a result of the YouTube channel. Again, there's so many things that you can do with the YouTube channel, but we're also going to show you how you don't need millions of views and millions of subscribers to succeed and build something amazing on the platform here as well. There's some really interesting niche-specific YouTube channels that we're going to talk about too, including this one, Brady Brandwood. And you see a lot of different videos there from, the one that he's become the most famous for is Leon the Lobster. And we'll talk about that because it's a perfect example of how storytelling and a great title in the thumbnail, even if the quality is not perfect, can help blow up a channel. And this one now has since 2006. I mean, you can see the progression of just this channel and how it's worked. One video changed everything. We were going to give you the recipe for hopefully getting to that one video. Obviously, we can't promise that, but we want to give you the best chance to hit that one video that's going to launch really, really big. And of course, I have the Pat Flynn channel as well, which has been around for a very long time and has nearly 500,000 subs. And Caleb has done an amazing job of helping me get here. We've been to a lot of events together. We've absorbed a lot of information. But of course, we all start from the beginning. So I want to share with you really quick. Hopefully, this is going to be inspiring. It's going to be a little cringe for me. This was before Caleb and I started work together, but this was the very first video that was published on the Pat Flynn YouTube channel in 2009. I'm going to play it for you, just a little clip here at the beginning, to show you that we all start from somewhere.
Hey everybody, this is Pat Flynn from the Smart Passive Income blog at smartpassiveincome.com. And I'm trying something out a little new today. This is actually my first video that I'll be putting on YouTube and on my blog. And I'm using some really cool tools that allow me to do some really cool things.
Oh my God, I'm bored already.
In that. I mean, like, it sounds like you're calling a girlfriend that just broke up with you and leaving a voicemail. Like, that's like the tone of like the confidence and the like volume level and yeah.
Yeah, it's I had no confidence, but you know what? I hit publish and I put it out there and you get better. And in the beginning, it's important to hit publish and get those reps in and not worry so much about quality. Quality is important. Obviously, you still want to provide value, but what I've learned and a big takeaway to start off this webinar is quantity is important when you start out because you get those reps, you get more comfortable. And Pat says, you sound shy, says Tina. Yeah, it was just bad. But I share that to show you that we all start from somewhere and then that you have to hit publish. And today we're going to talk about a lot more things that are going to help you along the way. So here is our plan for today. We're going to talk about your channel, the first thing you should do before you even create the channel, and the best way to know if you're going to make a channel worth subscribing to. And Caleb and I are going to talk about the algorithm. The algorithm is a big topic. How do we get YouTube to feed our video to new people? And it's not as hard as you might think and as some other people make it out to be. We're also going to talk about your videos. I mean, Caleb, there's a million strategies. There's just a few that if you know how to do correctly can really help you get noticed and get pushed out, right?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the click and stick, how to get people to actually, once they see your videos on YouTube, like click into them and watch them and stick around, because that's really what YouTube wants, and that's what you want. You want them to make it into your videos and to keep watching.
Exactly. And then, of course, we'll talk about monetization as well and how you don't need millions of subs in order to do really well. Caleb, especially you with the reviews you do for the products and such. I mean, you don't, again, have, I don't think you're even at 100,000 subs yet you've been able to generate revenue through a lot of the work that you've done on your YouTube channel. And we'll show you some other examples of people who have done that very well too. And really what you're seeing is a glimpse of what we talk about in our course, YouTube from Scratch. We'll talk about this at the end. It's inside of our All Access Pass. And thousands of people have gone through this. We have an accelerator coming up so you can go through it with another group. And as Kenzo here says, he's getting triple the views on his videos. And we're going to share some of those strategies that have enabled that kind of thing. But as with anything, it's really important to talk about kind of the stories that we're telling ourselves in our head that could potentially stop us from succeeding. And one of the stories, one of the myths, is that you need fancy camera equipment, which is absolutely not true. Caleb, can you speak to this? Because as somebody who reviews cameras, and I know you, like many of us, have a love for camera gear, and we just hope that the next piece of gear will make our videos look great. But why is that not the most important thing?
Well, now phones are so close to the quality of cameras that are tens of thousands of dollars. Like the gap between Hollywood and what is in your pocket is so small now that you don't need to have fancy gear and equipment. Back 10 years ago, yes, your videos would look nicer if you had a DSLR and nice lens and that sort of thing, because our phones couldn't record high quality stuff. Now your phones are good enough, and other things are cheaper too. Lights are cheaper, microphones are cheaper, software is cheaper. It's just a little bit easier entry now than it was before.
For sure. And you know what else is cheaper? In fact, it's actually free. Telling better stories. You learn how to tell better stories. That is way better than any camera equipment that you could ever get. In fact, you could have terrible video quality, but tell a great story, and it can still be amazing. This is Leon the Lobster from Brady's channel. As you can see, this video, which you may have seen, let me know in the chat if you've ever seen this or come across this video, keeping a grocery store lobster as a pet. And you can see down in the lower left-hand corner, 19 million views. And this was in 2021. It's, I think, way more than 20 now for this one single video that launched his channel. And if you look back there, he's filming on an iPhone because the story is so compelling and it's so like, oh yeah, what would happen if you took home a grocery store lobster and raised it as a pet? And that's Leon right there, by the way, and you'll get to know him a little bit more. Another myth that many of us YouTubers have when we're first starting out is that you have to go big, and we can all thank this guy for this sort of trend, this beastification, as it was once called, this idea that you have to be huge, you have to build a $3 million studio and do a Squid Games kind of thing in order to succeed. But that's actually not true either. Even though there are channels out there who are doing huge and big things, there are many channels that are very niche and small, yet build an incredibly loyal audience. Brady, again, you could see that every video that he's done with a lobster, which is not a big thing, he's just filming an aquarium in his home with a lobster that he got from a grocery store, has millions of views, tens of hundreds of thousands of views just because of that. Michelle Carr, she puts herself in situations to learn things from different industries. She joins the Army for a little bit, tries a SWAT academy. Storytelling is really what's making Michelle. She won a Steamy award?
Yeah.
Streamy award recently because of her work, and it's not anything huge. She's just taking us into the lives of others. Charlie, a good friend of ours over at ConvertKit, soon to be known as Kit, which is pretty cool, little brand change there. She helps web designers, and she just shares a bit of her life, and she has hundreds of thousands of subs sharing that. I've gotten into fishing, and even in the fishing space, I mean, there are fishing channels, but there are specific fishing channels like this one, which talks about specifically the lures that you should select, and nearly 500,000 subs just based on the lures, not what lake to go to, not how to use the electronic equipment on your boat, but specifically what lures to use and when. This one, Fish the Moment, is about more the electronic equipment that you use in your boat. And this is 100,000 subscribers, a very specific niche inside of the fishing space. This one, Greg Blanchard, he's not just a fisherman, not just a bass fisherman, not just a kayak bass fisherman, but he joins tournaments and takes us behind the scenes of what it's like to join a largemouth bass kayak fishing tournament. So, 10 times specific. I mean, what are some specific channels that you watch, Caleb, that have a good amount of subscribers and loyal audiences? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, there's one channel that I watch that's just a guy that talks about punting in professional football and college football.
Punting.
It's Isaac Punts, and it's all his videos are just related to punters. He thinks punters are underrated. He shows the amazing punters and the punts they do and how they change the position of the field of the football game. And this guy has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. It's like the most niche thing. You take sports, you take football, and then you just take like punters and like his whole channel. It's like there's so many niches that you can go so specific into something and actually be bigger than if you try to just like cover a bunch of stuff, which I know we're going to talk about soon.
Do you think it's better to go niche at first and then expand out, or try to go general and kind of see what sticks?
I think going smaller first, at least on your topics, will help the algorithm and the audience be like, this is what this channel is about. And then your related videos are similar to each other so they can get recommended to each other. If you make a video about fishing and then you make it about hunting and then you make it about archery and then, people don't really know what you are and you kind of don't know what you are at that point. So I think choosing something specific, especially at the beginning, is good. And then once you have some reach, then you can go a little bit broader and make videos about other topics.
Agreed. And Not Here to Be Nice also says, agreed, I used to sell books on Amazon, and the more super niche the book is, the more it sells for. And it doesn't mean you have to pigeonhole yourself into that space forever. You can always branch out. You can always start experimenting with 20% of your videos being about that new thing, just to see how your audience responds to it. And that's kind of what I've done on the Pokemon channel, what I'm starting to do on the Pat Flynn channel. And that's a great way to go about it. Another myth, you need millions of subscribers. No, that's not true. It's hard to get large numbers on YouTube, but smaller numbers can be very powerful. All you need is 1,000 true fans. I've spoken about this in my book, Super Fans. And incredible things can happen even when you build a small, loyal audience. Justin Moore here, who's a sponsorship coach, he helps YouTubers and creators get sponsored. He's only got, videos that have less than 1,000 views each, but he's made nearly $500,000, not from necessarily YouTube ads, but because every video is a way to help him talk about who he is and prove himself. And then people want to work with him. Can you speak to this myth of the draw to millions of subs because we see that in the news and it's in the media, and Mr. Beast, just is now the largest YouTuber and we all want big numbers, but that can get us in trouble, right?
Yeah, it's really a vanity metric. I mean, it can help when you're talking to a brand. It can look impressive if you're at a conference and talking to people, but you're not paid by how many subscribers you have. You're paid by the AdSense on the views. You're paid by the rest of your business you're referring people to, like Justin there. And it is just a vanity metric. And for me, I have about 50,000 subs. But even when I had 5,000, 10,000, I could go to a conference, have a conversation with someone and be like, these 5 or 10,000 people that watch my videos are people that would buy your product because what I talk about is so niche and specific, and they would want to work together. So I don't think it really matters how many subscribers you have. What matters more is the views and the rest of your business that's behind it.
100%. And I love that idea of going to conferences and saying like, hey, I have this YouTube audience of 5,000 people that are so specific to your brand. Even at a conference, you can tell those companies, hey, you're here at this conference, but how many of the people walking around now are specific people that would be perfect for your brand? Not many of them. You kind of have to hope they come by and look at you, but I have authority and can tell them what they need to do or what companies they need to follow. That could be very valuable for a brand. And we'll talk a little bit more about brand sponsorships and things like that after. However, the final myth here is that it's too late to start. I think a lot of people feel like we're always behind because other people have done it first before us, but a couple truths about that. Number one, nobody's done it like you will do. And number two, it's definitely not too late because things are always changing and people want to hear a different perspective. So no, this is not true. Matt Wolf is a good example. He started his channel not too long ago, about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, about AI. And he reached out to me when he first started, and he said it was so crazy how quickly he was growing. I wanted to congratulate him. He's a friend of mine here in San Diego as well with us. He went from getting 1,000 views a month to 4 million views a month in a very short period of time. You could see the growth kind of just immediately took off starting in January of 2023 once ChatGPT and all those kinds of things came out. And now he's at 606,000 subscribers. And you can see in his videos, if you watch them, they have sponsored ads on from AI companies, and he's just doing really, really well. So there are two options you have in chat. Hopefully you know the right answer to this. Which road do you want to take? You want to go the hard route, where you kind of figure this out on your own? You have to make a bunch of videos until you figure out those mistakes, years of frustration, just like Caleb and I both have had on our respective channels. Or do you want to go number two? Give me a 2 in the chat if you want to take the shortcut, knowing what works, have less frustration, because that's exactly why we are here. We're here to teach you these things that are working today. And a big thank you to RB Halloway as well for joining Team Gold here in the chat. So also shout out to the blue names in the chat, our moderators. You can see Ashley and Kelsey in there too. So I think the answer should be obvious. We want to give you the shortcut to this. And the first thing that we would do when starting a YouTube channel is not start the YouTube channel. This is a big mistake. And I know where it comes from. You have the energy. You want to do it. You want to go quick, which is okay. But there's a few things we need to do first. You need to figure out who you are creating videos first. I did a recent interview with Rory Vaden, and it was really interesting. He was talking about Simon Sinek, right? Start with why. And that's a very big process. Companies start with why, and then everything else comes from that. But if you're a YouTuber, and he made the case for starting with who, understanding who it is you're creating videos for. What are their problems, pains, issues? What are your thoughts on that, Caleb, in terms of starting with who it is you're going to be providing your videos for as a starting point to then come up with ideas and all those kinds of things?
Yeah, at least for me, I was making the videos that I wanted to see at the beginning. So the who was me. It was like
Yeah.
I bought a piece of gear equipment and there wasn't a video about it. So I'm going to make that piece of content because I was looking for it and couldn't find it. So I'm going to make it. But really, it wasn't for me. It was for other people like me. It was the other people that were looking to buy that piece of gear. They wanted to know if it was worth the money, what the features were, how to set it up. And so I had to think of that. I had to kind of flip it instead of like making videos for me, because I'm not really going to sit there and watch my own videos after I publish them. It's more for other people like me. So I would try to think of people in my life, like actual people. I've even gotten the advice from people who like put a picture of that one person like right next to the camera lens. And so you're talking kind of to that person and you have them in mind when you're making your content, so that if that person's younger, maybe you simplify the words you use and things like that. If that person is older and super advanced degrees and really smart, you step it up a notch in how you're talking to that person. But having that someone in mind when you make your video also can help you with the title and thumbnail process of like the style and how over the top or how direct it is and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's important to think about who, because you might be like an earlier version of you or a younger version of you is who you're serving. And so you know what is going through their head. As Jerry here in the comments says, learn the lyrics, which is a phrase that I use in my book, Super Fans. So let's go here. Your channel could be about a lot of things, right? Your interest, your expertise, your obsession, your work, talent, journey, passion, struggle, curiosity, your goal, your weird, any of those kinds of things. And I think that's the cool thing. YouTube celebrates uniqueness. And I think it's important to bring your own personality into it as well. If you just create a video channel that's like many others, then it's going to be just second at best. I mean, in the Pokemon space, I know there's a lot of Pokemon YouTubers who are here as well who want to learn, who are kind of crossed over from my Deep Pocket Monster channel, which is great. Good to see y'all here. A lot of Pokemon YouTubers who start new do exactly what the big guys are doing, right? They're just opening packs and kind of reacting to them. You got to kind of find your own personality or spin or uniqueness that you can bring that makes it more than just about the cards, but maybe something around it. For me and my channel, it's become challenges. It's become a lot of these, time limited kind of things to collect things, which has been really unique and fun. And everybody's different. So it takes time. And that's why in the beginning, reps are really important, because you're going to need those reps to understand, okay, well, where might you fit in this space that you're getting into, and not worrying so much about how every video performs, rather worry about making every video a little bit better than the last. And I think that's key. So a problem that I've had recently that I've shared a lot about is my Pat Flynn YouTube channel. Yes, the niche is entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship is a niche that people talk about. However, it's still too general. I talk about affiliate marketing, email marketing, public speaking, podcasting, video creation, physical products, search engine optimization, and way more. And the problem with that is I get a lot of come and go viewers, right? People come, they get the video they need, and then they leave. This was very apparent once my podcasting YouTube videos went wild. And you and I, Caleb, had filmed several different versions of that over the years. I think 2012 was the first time that series came out, and it's seen millions of views. However, it's not accounted for a lot of subscribers and comeback viewers, returning viewers, because when they subscribe, they're like, oh, this podcasting channel is great. And then the next video is about something completely different. Then, even though it's entrepreneurship, it signals to YouTube, okay, the subscribers aren't really wanting the second and third videos that are coming out that they see. So we're not going to amplify it. We're going to throttle it a little bit, right? Which is, again, a case for keeping it all about the same thing. Because the truth is, and what I've learned over time is this: people don't subscribe because of the video they just watched. They subscribe because of the videos they are hoping that are going to come. And that's a huge mindset shift, because I think a lot of us, right, Caleb, like a lot of us YouTubers, when we're first starting out, we're like, okay, a subscribe is like a reward for us for creating a good video, right? Like and subscribe, but it's not like that. How do we learn ourselves out of that, and how do we create videos for the viewer who hopefully will come back, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I try to think of my own subscribe behavior, and I never subscribe when someone tells me to. Like that would
Yeah.
make me not want to do it.
Yeah.
So I usually subscribe after I've watched multiple videos from them, and I consciously make the decision to subscribe. So your call to action should probably be to get them to watch more of your videos, get them further down the rabbit hole of you and what you make videos about.
Correct.
Then they'll be like, oh, I like what I've seen. I want to know more when they come out in the future. And that's the interesting thing about YouTube is like your home feed, your browse feed, a lot of those videos are not people you're subscribed to, and people you are subscribed to aren't showing up there. They're just showing you things that you watch. They're like smarter than you are, because they know what you want to watch
Mm-hmm.
beyond what you've actually subscribed to watch. Because you might subscribe to business channels, you want to like learn stuff, but it's like, yeah, but you really want to watch this video game channel because that's what you're like really into.
Right. It's true. YouTube knows a lot about who should watch whose videos. And on your home feed, when you go to YouTube, it's like Caleb said, not a lot of videos that you've subscribed to. You'll get notifications for ones that you're subscribed to and the ones that you regularly check in with. So think about that from your perspective as a creator. You will show up on other people's home feeds who don't know who you are, who don't know what this video is about or anything. So that's where the title and the thumbnail, we'll get into that in just a minute, come into play. But also, when you start your videos, don't start your videos with, hey, welcome back. You might have seen in the last 2 days, or this other video I did earlier kind of last week, you're like talking to people as if they already know you. But if you want growth on YouTube, you need to think about it from a person is just seeing you for the first time. How can you get to what they think is going to happen in the title and thumbnail sooner than later? And again, we'll talk about that when it comes to the videos specifically. But there's a few other things we want to offer you before you start your channel. And if you started already, that's okay. You can still do these things too. Be sure to follow other channels and watch other videos in your niche. I think it was Daryl Eves who offered a really good piece of advice in his book, YouTube Formula, which was start a new YouTube account, like either incognito. I don't remember exactly how he did this, but like start a new account and just start watching videos in that niche that you're doing your videos in. And you'll get to see what the algorithm starts feeding to that new account's home feed. And you'll be able to see the sort of tangled web of all the stuff that they think you should watch and where you might insert yourself to. It's such an interesting piece of advice to go in there to just see what is getting fed to people who watch videos like you, or the videos that they also watch. So that's really smart, because you can get a lot of insight from that as well. And read the comments and see what people like and dislike. This will help you understand. This is really helpful for me with the Pokemon channel, because I started realizing that people didn't just want to see packs being opened all the time. I learned that from reading the comments. And the second thing related to that is you can use YouTube's engagement graph to see what parts of videos people rewatch. So for example, here on Leon the Lobster's channel, you can see what the most replayed parts of videos on YouTube are if they've been up for at least, I think, a week or something like that. I don't know the exact amount of time, but see those spikes there? Those are moments when people replayed those videos. And so go into those videos in your niche that are not yours and see, okay, well, where are people wanting to rewatch? Can I do more of that? Can I learn from that? What can I take and make my own in that space as well. And you alluded to this earlier, Caleb, but if you help YouTube succeed, like if you help YouTube get what they want, they will help you succeed. So what does that mean exactly? Let's unpack that, because when I learned this, it just made complete sense. But what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, I just did a workshop about this in the SBI community, and I was talking about how you need to make YouTube happy first, then make your viewers happy, and then worry about yourself and your business. So what YouTube wants is more people to watch more videos so they can show more ads, because YouTube is a business. And so the longer you can get people to watch your videos, the more ads they'll see. If you have a video over 8 minutes, you can put in multiple ads. That's more money for YouTube. YouTube's happy. If you can keep people on the platform of YouTube, either recommending them to your videos or other videos on YouTube, that's going to make YouTube happy. So YouTube is going to reward that behavior. They're going to reward watch time, and they're going to reward you keeping people on the platform and not leaving. So sometimes you might want them to leave. You might have a call to action to sign up to your email list or buy your product or whatever. But most of the time, you want to try to get them to engage on the YouTube platform with comments, likes, watching other videos, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Higher click-through rates and longer retention time. YouTube will go, oh, like Caleb created a video that keeps people on our platform. All right, let's send it to more people. And you'll see over time, the impressions, you'll see spikes of impressions where YouTube finds a group of people based on their viewing histories and viewing behaviors that seem to resonate with your video. And then it'll come back down because it's like, okay, we've exhausted all of them. And they'll experiment again for free for you. If you do these things in the videos to help people watch longer and click through, then that's how you get pushed out. This is what I feel is the number one platform, YouTube, to be able to get in front of newer audiences for free, right? Through organic traffic. It used to be blogs and search engines and Google, but Google has changed. And even if you're a first search result on Google now, you still have to scroll down to find it because there's ads, and YouTube has its AI, or Google has its AI answers now. It's getting ridiculous. So this is why I love YouTube for helping us out. If you can help them create videos that keep people on the platform. So let's get into this. The click and the stick strategy. Very simple. There's a million things you could do on YouTube. This is by far the foundational thing that you need to understand, the click and the stick. So the click, this is the title and the thumbnail. When a video comes across a person's feed or in a recommendation, or it shows up after they finish one video and they're like, we think you like video, you might like this video next. It's all about the title and thumbnail. It doesn't matter what you have in the video, although I'll say it with a caveat. The first few seconds of your video is really important too now, because they show a little preview. If you hover your mouse over, if you stop on a mobile device centered on a video, it'll play the first few seconds. So you want to make those first few seconds really interesting as well. If you're going to add B-roll or like background video into a video to make it more interesting, put some in the beginning, or put something that has movement in the first parts of your video, so that when people scroll over it and it's not just the title and thumbnail, but also the first preview, that'll get a person to click, because you want a person to be interested enough to stop scrolling and start watching, right? So the title and the thumbnail are extremely important. Your videos might as well not even exist if people aren't seeing it and clicking it. And it's really hard. There are so many great videos that I know, Caleb, you and I have worked on that we're so proud of. But because we rushed the title and thumbnail or didn't even think about it up front, it just meant nobody was going to watch it, because people didn't know that it was worth watching, because we didn't give them that door or that gateway to go through that would make them want to go into that room, essentially. It is a hard thing, because I know we as creators, I don't know if you've fallen into this pattern too before we learned all this stuff, Caleb, where it's like you finally edit the video, it's done, and you're like, whoo, all right, let's just put it out there and we'll slap a title and thumbnail into it because we work so hard on the video. But I mean, you have to work on the title and thumbnail, right?
Yeah, and I mean, think about the book writing process too. It's similar, where you have to have a nice title for your book that you put tens of thousands of words into and years of your time. And then they mock up all the covers, and you look at all the covers with the publisher, and it's a similar process for a book, because people want to see it on a bookshelf. They want to be attracted to it and pick it. It's not any different than titles and thumbnails. You got to kind of have that in mind when you're coming up with your book. And I remember I'm friends with James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, and I remember years ago, way before the book, he came up with so many different titles, like probably 50, 100, more than that, just trying to figure out the best name for this book. And I don't think if he would have went through that, the book would be the best-selling book on Amazon last year, and it sold 10, 15, 20 million copies, whatever he's at this
It's
point.
crazy.
So you got to put in that effort for figuring out the packaging
Mm-hmm.
of the rest of what you're going to have people watch.
Yes, the packaging, that is a phrase that a lot of YouTubers use for the title and thumbnail combo. What promise does it make? How does it cause intrigue? How does it cause or open curiosity? So you have to click to figure out what happens. Our secret for the video creation process is this. You'll see it on the bottom there. Start with the title. When you, in your creative process as a video creator, start with the title, then a lot of different and very interesting things happen, which we'll cover. But this is how you ensure that the video you film supports that first promise that you make with the package, right? The title and thumbnail. If you can do both the title and the thumbnail up front and then film that video, things are going to make much more sense to the viewer. They're going to stick around longer. The way you create that video will change based on the interesting title that you find. So this is Brady Brandwood's, again, Leon the Lobster channel. Look at all the different titles and thumbnails that are there. You see stuff about motorcycles, fish, koi, whatever. But there's one that stands out for a few reasons. And this isn't even a perfect thumbnail because the best practice is not to use the same words in the thumbnail as are in the title, because that's kind of a wasted space. But a few things this gets right. Number one, the title, keeping a grocery store lobster as a pet, that already tells a story. What happens? I need to know. Is that even a thing? Can you do that? Is it going to die right away? Would it actually live? I don't know. So this makes you want to click. And then the thumbnail is perfect in this way because it has one thing right. It has the quintessential symbol for a grocery store lobster, which is that giant claw with a rubber band around it. And those two things alone kind of, in that case, it kind of supports the title, right? Yes, this is a grocery store lobster. Here is the rubber band around the claw that we all see when we're walking around the supermarket or the fish store. Okay, I got to click to see what happens, right? As opposed to, look at some of these other titles here. The 1979 CR-20 Rat Rocket Build, or Oxygen for transporting fish. Cool if you were specifically looking for those things. But keeping a grocery store lobster as a pet, that is something that people didn't even need to know they needed to know until they see it, right? That's how powerful a title and then a thumbnail that supports that can be. So let's run a little quiz here. I'm going to share a multiple choice for an entrepreneurial audience. This is a video that I had filmed, and these are 4 different titles for a video. I want to have you guess A, B, C, or D which title I used, and I used it. The video did perform very well, and it was purposefully chosen because I knew it would do well because of this idea of opening up the idea for the audience to want to click and find out what happened. So A, this question helps me live a better life. B, the one question you need to ask yourself to succeed. C, how Tim Ferriss changed my life with literally one question. D, life-changing advice that I use to find success. Now, these are all pretty good titles. They all create some sort of interest. But there's one title here specifically that did very well for a few reasons. And a lot of you are already guessing it. And that is, in fact...
That's got it. They're all right.
Yeah, they're all right. Why do you think this one did so well? There's a number of different things we could talk about. And look at the thumbnail as well. Was Tim actually next to me in a room when he said this question to me? No, this was all virtual. But I put his face there, him looking at me. I found this really good moment in a video that I pulled out that thumbnail. I just used Canva to kind of remove the background. And then I put me there looking like I was either disappointed. There's some story there, right, that this is telling. And then look at the text on the thumbnail. He was right. What was he right about? I need to click what is going on here. So for the Pat Flynn channel, this is a very, very widely viewed video. I typically get less video views on this channel than I do in my Deep Pocket Monster one. But A, Tim Ferriss, big name for entrepreneurs. So, using something familiar inside of a title works really well, right? Why else might this this title thumbnail combo worked really well, Caleb, do you think?
Well, I mean, you talked about how people call it newsjacking, where you take some current event and you make a video about it, and similar. You can do it with celebrities too, or big name people. You see a lot of people be like, how Mr. Beast got big on YouTube, or how much money so and so makes, or so that's the first part of this. The second part is you're just enticing people. You're opening a door for them to walk through.
Right.
You're being like, okay, what's the question? What was he right about? Oh, there's only one question. There's like so many questions that your title opens up that people want to know about, and so that's why it has a bigger or faster click-through rate than some of your other videos.
Correct. And a lot of smart commenters here. So definitely read the comments if you're in the live chat now to see all the great reasons why this did so well. Let's do one more. This is on my Pokemon YouTube channel. Again, the audience is for average Pokemon card collectors. A, 5 tips for storing your Pokemon cards. B, the correct way to store Pokemon cards in a binder. C, this is how I store my Pokemon cards in a binder to last longer. So A, B, or C. Now, I will say for each of these videos that we do when we're coming up with ideas, like you said with James in his book, I mean, we're coming up with dozens of ideas that may or may not work. Most of them are terrible, but it can just be that one that makes you go, oh my gosh, that one is the one, because you know it either draws that curiosity or it brings people in. The one that we used here that worked really well is, in fact, B, the correct way to store Pokemon cards in a binder, because a few things are working in our favor here. The fact that it is a head turner, it is a weird thing to think that you're actually doing it wrong, right? We're almost like taking something that's so well known and saying, nope, you're probably doing it wrong, which opens up a lot of, again, curiosity. Yes, C was decent because it's like, okay, we want our cards to last longer for sure, but this one drives home, hey, you don't know, but right now you are probably damaging your cards, right? You're storing it wrong. This Pokemon card that you see in the thumbnail as well is a very well-known card. So again, similar to the Tim Ferriss one, we took something that was well-known and recognizable, and we put it on there, and we added some oomph, some emphasis to it to show like, hey, yeah, you're actually... So any collector who sees this, whether they think they're doing it right or not, will want to make sure they're doing it right.
I want to confirm that they are doing it right. Yeah.
Correct. Cannabis is so good, right? Correct, capitalize, yes, to emphasize that a little bit more. There is a really, really good tool that I want to recommend called thumbsup.tv. It's totally free. You don't need to even sign up for it. Use thumbsup.tv. Again, thumbsup.tv. You can upload a thumbnail that you kind of designed and also add in your title, and you can see what it will look like on a person's device. On a mobile device, on a TV, on all the devices it shows it. And really important on the mobile device specifically, you can see where it gets truncated. A lot of people make really good titles, but the juicy parts are at the end, and then people don't see that. They're not interested enough to click. So thumbsup.tv. I just wanted to pass that forward to you. Now this one, look at that, 3 million views for something that could have been just so, how I store Pokemon cards in a binder to help my cards last longer. No, this is how powerful a title and thumbnail combo can be. So powerful, and this is a big tip, if something worked really well, do another version of it. This isn't the same video. This is not a binder one, but we use the same formula, and you'll see this across many, many successful YouTube channels. A video worked, they used the same formula to create something similar. Same card, same formatting, just a different color of the background. In this video, the correct way to store Pokemon cards versus storing them in a binder worked really well for us too. In many cases, when you change the title, it will make your video even better. So you start with a seed idea. So here was an original idea for a video on the Pokemon channel, how to package and ship your cards without damage. This idea came from because I had just received a package and it was like everything I got inside of it was messed up. And I was like, okay, I just want to teach people how to do this correctly. So I was like, okay, well, how to package and ship your cards. But guess what? Most people aren't packaging and shipping their cards. This would be for a very small percentage of the audience. So how could I cast a wider net? How could I make this video more interesting to more people, whether or not they care about their own packaging and how to ship something? So this was the solution. Which shipping service damages my cards the most? This was one of, I think, 20 ideas that came about. And so, Caleb, can you get into the psychology of why this one seemed to work really well for us, even though it's just like, again, it's still teaching the same things. We framed it different. It created a totally different video. What do you think of when you see a title and a thumbnail like this?
Well, I think questions like this will open a loop. So people want to close that loop.
100%.
They want to find out what the answer is. As well as you put the logos of what you're doing on there. It's pretty evident of what's going to happen. It's probably a box is going to be damaged. And people are going to want to find out which one did it so they can avoid it. So there's a lot of different triggers that are used in this
Spot on, dude.
combo here. Yeah.
Spot on. And what a video like this does for retention, right? Which is like, okay, let's put UPS, FedEx, and USPS against each other. Once we open that loop in the beginning of the video, I mean, you kind of have to stick around to the end to see what happens, right? So, of course, that lengthens the retention, which then YouTube's like, oh, people actually want to watch all of this video, so let's push it out to more people. And so, again, we're still teaching. This is how you do it. And, of course, if you look at this box, you're like, did you actually receive a box that looked that damaged? No, I didn't. I kicked the box, which was empty, to make a giant dent to just emphasize this point a little bit more. And this is where we get into the big question of clickbait, right? You have to capture attention. That is the truth. And clickbait is only wrong, in my opinion, when you promise one thing and you don't fulfill that promise, right? Versus in this case, this is a classic case of clickbait for good, or legit bait, as some people call it, which is, okay, here's the idea. Let's make sure people who come across this thumbnail stop and see it, because this is actually of service to people. It's actually going to help people. I have not received one comment out of thousands on this video saying, you never actually had a box that was dented as bad as your thumbnail, because guess what? They don't even think about it anymore after they're in the video, right? What are your thoughts on clickbait? Because I've seen some people already talk about it here in the chat and kind of wanting to avoid that.
I mean, I can understand it from like a personal belief of like, I don't want to lie. I don't want to be fake. I don't want to, trick people. But at the same time, Pat, you're a fisherman. Have you gone fishing without bait before? How did that go for you? Like you have to have something to entice people.
Right.
Some people can get away with it. There are a few exceptions where it's an auto-generated thumbnail from the video. They put very little effort into the titles, and then just their content has to be amazing for the retention and the algorithm and the audience to like refer it. So it's like, why not give your video the chance it deserves with your own spin on it, with your own taste of getting people to be interested to watch it.
Right. Now, in our course, YouTube from Scratch, we teach more specifically about the thumbnails and the titles and how to generate them and kind of how to test them and stuff. And by the way, YouTube just recently, I think, opened up to everybody now A/B testing. They call it like compare and contrast or something like something.
Yeah, like if you don't have it yet, you should have it soon, because they are rolling it out to everybody. And you have been able to do it with third-party tools like TubeBuddy or vidIQ, but it's going to be built into the platform,
which is incredible. But let's move on from the click to now the stick. So this is, of course, the hook and the retention. YouTube is not going to push out to your video to more people unless people are willing to stick around and watch it, right? So the hook is the beginning of the video, making sure, and again, putting some sort of visual components there that are interesting for anybody who's catching the preview of the video. But this is really what it's all about, the retention graph, the most important graph that you could ever look at. Not your subscriber growth, not how many views you're getting, the retention graph, because this turns into more subscribers and views when you understand how to read it. So this basically shows across the entire length of a video, this is an 18-minute video, where people are watching, where people are replaying, which is the spikes, and where people are dropping off. And in this particular video, you can see there's two spots where people kind of leave, right, or skip ahead. And when you look at the video, you have to do this, and thankfully YouTube makes this easy. Look at those parts. I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to feel like you're failing, but this is how you get better. Go to the retention graph. Look to see what parts you have moments like this. And in this particular video, I found out that these were the moments where I showed my face on camera. So basically, people didn't want to see my face on camera.
Well, you're taking that a little personal. But, dig a little further than just them seeing you. Or is it like you were talking for a while? Was it just less visually interesting, like things going on? Or what do you think it was?
This is a great question. The answer is the promise of the thumbnail was what's inside this mystery box. Whenever I came on screen, I was taking people away from what's inside this mystery box.
Yeah.
Right? So the middle parts here are the parts that people stayed around, right? Here are the things inside this box I bought on eBay, and here are them laid out and my reaction to them, all those kinds of things, right? Here's another mystery box that we did where we saw in the beginning something really interesting. As soon as people sort of like got 30 seconds into the video, they stuck around. This is what you want to see in a retention graph, right? This is a flat line. This means people who got to this point stuck around. So we went to the video and we're like, what happened here? Oh, the beginning of this mystery box, I opened up some binders, like folders of Pokemon, which the other mystery boxes didn't have. People seem to be really interested in binders. So we ran some experiments and we did a number of videos where we bought people's binders specifically. Instead of buying random mystery boxes, we said, can I buy your Pokemon binder? And look at the views on this video. Wow, they did pretty darn well. So well that many of these videos with millions of views have accounted for tens of thousands of subscribers individually. And this one video cost $17,000. How much was the binder? $2,000. Well, I got my money back and then some, which was pretty cool. And you could even see on the graph there, which is the growth graph or the view graph, it took a few days and then it popped off around, day 75, which was really interesting. It didn't happen right away. Another thing that we love to do on the channel is experiment, right? You have these buckets of videos. So we had, for example, the binder purchase bucket, right? And again, if something works, do more of that. That becomes a playlist, a bucket, which will help people want to go from one video to the next to the next. Maybe they might start with video 4 in that bucket and then go back to the beginning, right? This is a playlist. We had another bucket where I was buying random things on Etsy and reacting to those, right? So we have these buckets. So always feed your buckets, but one bucket should be worth experimenting with, right? This is how you kind of figure out what's new and plan for new things. And if you create videos in that experimental bucket and they don't work, that's okay, because you still have your reliable buckets that you found over time that do work. One video that we did on the channel, the seed idea was creative things you can do with extra energy cards. Inside of every Pokemon pack, you get an energy card and people usually throw them away. But I wanted to do something fun with them, some arts and crafts, build some furniture with them, like put resin on them to make a table, all these other things. But we filmed that video and we're like, why would anybody watch this? I'm just, there's no reason to watch this unless you were really bored and just wanted to do something with energy cards, right? So we said, okay, well, what can we do to add a story element into this, to create something where there's something at stake? So this is the video where instead of me just doing these random projects, my son, Keone, challenges me to perform a trick shot, which is I throw an energy card across the room and try to land it in between a clothespin, which was one of the activities I was going to talk about. And if I didn't do it in time, I would owe him one of my most expensive cards. So now there was a reason. My son being a part of the story was fun, but if I didn't get it by the end of the day, then I'd owe him this really expensive card. So now, what have we created? A reason for retention. And so I'm about to show you the graph of what the retention rate for this video looked like. I mean, it's pretty flat all the way through. So for an entertainment channel, this helps. But what could a person, Caleb, in more of an educational channel do, for example, to add some stake or a reason to stick around to the end? Do you have any ideas for the people who are in the chat who are doing more education-based things?
Yeah, I mean, something to do with your channel is listicles. So like 10 reasons to start a podcast or something like that. And that will keep people around a little bit if they want to hear all of them.
Mm-hmm.
As well as opening some sort of loop at the beginning, be like, later in the video, I'm going to tell you how much money this actually made or something like that. So that like having some loops opening, having some chapters or list to go through that's numbered, and maybe you're counting down to the best one or something like. There are little like tricks that you can see when you start thinking this way. You'll watch videos and be like, oh, this is what they're doing to me. This is how they're getting me to stick around. And there's everything from super highly edited, yelling at you with a lot of text on the screen, previous Mr. Beast style, to no editing at all. And somewhere on that spectrum is where you got to feel comfortable of like having engagement for people to stick around and keep watching your videos.
Right. But you have to ask yourself that question. Why would a person even care to spend their next X number of minutes watching this video? We have to have a reason for that, right? And if you can understand what that might be up front and then lean into that, great. If you are, for example, off the top of my head, if I'm teaching Facebook advertising strategies, right? I could just do, hey, here are 5 Facebook advertising strategies that work in 2024. Great. But what if I did, hey, here are 5 strategies, and after I share them with you, I'm going to put them to the test, and I'm going to invest $100 in ads using these strategies, and we're going to see if I can get a return. Well, now you want to stick around to the end. And that gives me the permission to share these things so I could set up then the experiment or the test at the end. And then a lot of people love to see the thing that you've taught being used or done or actually executed. So that's a very easy but smart way to add, again, a reason at the end of the video to stick around. So back to the evolution of this retention on the Deep Pocket Monster channel. So we have the binders, which we found worked really well. And then this idea of a challenge or something at stake that could work. Okay, well, let's combine the two. What if we did a binder challenge where I have to finish this set in 24 hours, and if I don't, I have to give them all away? Well, here's the retention graph for this video. Once you're in, I mean,
that's wild.
This is crazy, right?
Too. Yeah.
This is insane. And it's all because we've looked at the data of what worked and what doesn't, and we're studying storytelling, we're studying retention, and here are the results of this video. I'm not even hiding anything here. Nearly 12 million views. This one video accounted for 83,000 subscribers.
That one video has gotten you more subscribers than my entire channel has.
I am so sorry.
That's crazy. That's the wild thing of like having researched what to do and putting it to,
exactly.
Put it in a video.
Exactly. And every channel is different. Your retention will be different than somebody else's retention, and the answers that YouTube gives you as far as why this is working or why this is not working is different for everybody. You have to go in there and look. And Digital Photo Mentor said, I watched that entire video. I don't even do Pokemon. That is the power of storytelling. And look at the revenue from the ads on this one single video. Nearly $60,000. So this definitely paid for the gas and this challenge and all the cards I picked up for it and all this kind of stuff. And this is what happens when you lean into that, right? So here are some different ways you can increase retention. We talk about this in YouTube from scratch as well, and we help you walk through it, especially if you join our accelerator that's starting next week. You'll see a little bit more about that, but you can actually join a cohort of students going through the YouTube from scratch course together and actually implement and do these things, which is amazing. Stories always work really, really well. Create a reason to stay to the end. What's at stake? We talked about that. B-roll footage, including some relevant things that are showing on the screen as you are talking. What I love, though, is we are in this trend now on YouTube of not just like throwing up things for movement, just to throw things up for movement, right? We're starting to see a little bit deeper storytelling, a little bit slowing down of certain things. But it's still important that if you're talking about something like a lake that you used to went fishing at, see if you can find some footage of that lake while you're talking about it. You're not just throwing some random lake there, but if you have like footage of you as a kid walking through that lake, that emphasizes that story and kind of enhances that even more. Text on the screen to emphasize certain things works really well. Different locations. This is an easy one if you are in the education space or showing something educational. If you have like 10 points that you want to share, make every point in a different location in your office. Don't just stay in one camera setting the whole time. Do point number 3 outside for a few of them. Go back inside and play with the dog for the last few. I mean, mix it up a little bit. That just, again, helps reset the viewer and keeps them on a little bit longer. Having quick transitions between parts, having people not even understand that they're moving on to the next part. Like, don't tell people, okay, guys, and for the final point here, we've gotten here. This is the final point I want to make. You're already kind of priming people to leave versus just kind of don't even have them realize they're almost done with the video so they can go on into the next one. And again, read your analytics so they know what's working and what's not. So let's finish up by talking about monetization. Monetization, many people, when they think about YouTube, is about AdSense. It's the ad revenue that comes on the videos. But there's a lot of different ways to generate revenue. However, AdSense can, as you saw earlier, can provide a lot of income. It's the money that the advertisers and YouTube share with you as a result of putting ads. This is the pre-roll, the mid-roll, and the post-rolls that show as like advertisements when your video plays. And in order to unlock a YouTube AdSense or ads on YouTube, it's actually changed. 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours of watch time across the past year. And you need at least, I think, 3 uploads every 90 days or something like that. So it's not that difficult. We just need to get started, and getting those reps in there will help you get there. And the Pat Flynn channel has generated a good amount of revenue over time. The views are a lot less, but the CPMs are a little bit higher. CPMs means cost per, or revenue, RPMs, revenue per 1,000 views. The Deep Pocket Monster YouTube channel is on a pretty good run lately with averaging $30,000 a month of ad revenue alone. But that's just not the only income, right? Can you speak to other means of generating revenue on a YouTube channel, especially those for who are just starting out, who might not have unlocked that AdSense yet and are building maybe in a smaller niche. They can still generate revenue, but how?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that you can make money from your YouTube channel and your videos. You can have your own products and services that you recommend to people. You could recommend other products and services and apps and get affiliate income from that. You could have a brand pay you directly to have an ad spot in your video even before you're qualified for AdSense on YouTube,
Hmm.
or a full sponsored video on your channel. Um, those are the main ways that I've made money through it. Is I use mine as a platform to prove that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to video production, and then I can have people hire me, and I can do client work for them and film and edit for them, as well as I have my own courses. I have my own affiliate links to all the gear and equipment and that I use and recommend. I do sponsor videos sometimes. So it's really a mixture of all those different revenue streams. And I find that the most successful YouTubers that make money, they have all those different streams. They have different ways because they kind of don't overlap. If someone's paying you to be an ad in your video, you can also promote your own thing, or you can also make AdSense on that video, or you can have affiliate links underneath. And it's not like if you do one, you can't do the other.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's a perfect place for you to prove your knowledge, to build that audience, to build that loyal fan base that then can unlock all these different things, not just AdSense revenue on Apple, or excuse me, on YouTube, but your own courses, your own coaching. Affiliate marketing is really huge. Brand deals. I do brand deals with companies on the Deep Pocket Monster channel, a binder company, an online card retailer. On the Pat Flynn channel, affiliate marketing is pretty huge. I've generated several thousands of dollars through affiliate marketing. This one video about a tool called Descript did very well. I've done several videos on Descript, and I love the tool. And 1 out of 5 of them have popped off, which is why you should continue to create videos about the things that you enjoy and that you use. These 2 videos actually did very well. And of course, in these videos, I promote the product. And so I signed up to Descript's affiliate program. And as you can see here, just in a couple of years, the actual take-home revenue from the commissions for Descript were $40,000 about a tool that I already use and love. And just by mentioning, hey, here's a link where you can go and get it too, I've generated another $40,000 in revenue. And that is not just sales. This is take-home commissions from promoting those products. And I know, Caleb, you work with a number of other companies. You can create long-lasting relationships with other companies. Can you talk a little bit about that as well? This is a huge thing that is underserved or not talked about often, which is the relationship you build with other brands and what that opens up to you. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can end up getting early access to products before they come out. So you can have that video that launches right when the NDA drops of like the announcement of a feature or a new product or something like that. And that can help your video be above all the other videos that everyone's going to make after that announcement is made. You can get invited to events. Like I know a lot of tech creators were just at Apple for WWDC. You can get access to the company. You can do interviews with people at the company eventually. Like it just, if you can prove that you're consistent and are in a specific niche and grow your audience around that, they'll come to you, but you can also go to them and talk about how to build a relationship together. Maybe you can be in a focus group inside their company about like developing the next product that they're working on, or you never know what kind of relationship you can build with these companies, because that is the new way that they are reaching their customers, is through influencers, is through different creators talking in those spaces. And honestly, it's much cheaper for them to do that than the old-fashioned way of running advertisements. Yeah.
They can go directly to their customer thanks to you. So that means you, as you build your audience, as you build up your authority and your expertise on YouTube, you have leverage. Use that. And you don't need 500 subs or 1,000 subs or millions of followers or subscribers in order to do that. You can quickly build a relationship. And in fact, it would be beneficial for these brands. They need you. They need you sometimes more than you need them. I will say be careful about who you work with, and obviously, make sure you do your due diligence and don't just say yes to everything. That's really important too, because as quickly as you can grow and build a brand, you can just as quickly lose it if you forget your way or start saying yes to everything, and things just, it can go down very fast. But I don't want that to scare you, because just as quickly you can grow And like I showed you, one video could change everything. I mean, the one video I did with Descript that took off, I mean, we have a relationship now. And when they are promoting new things, just like recently, there are conversations about, brand deals and other things like that, which are really, really amazing. So I hope this has been really helpful. And in fact, I'd love to ask you, what was the most helpful thing you learned today? We talked about a lot of things across the click and stick strategy, obviously help dive into some of the myths that might stop you as well. But today is an amazing day to start a YouTube channel or grow the one that you currently have. And we want to help you do that. YouTube is a huge opportunity. It can be super scary, obviously super overwhelming, which is why it's important to connect with other people who can help you get there, right? We created an online course called YouTube from Scratch, but we made it in a very different way. This course is built into something we call the All Access Pass. YouTube from Scratch, both Caleb and I worked on, and it is some of our best work. We've filmed, I don't know, how many courses have we filmed together, Caleb, over the years?
Almost 10 full ones. Yeah.
10 full ones, yeah. And this is by far our favorite. And the reason is because YouTube is such a complicated thing to many people. There are many, many things that you can do to grow on YouTube. Caleb and I, when we created this course, we said, hey, what are the necessities that a student would need? We don't want to share everything about YouTube, just what they need to get to 1,000 subscribers, which is the goal, right? And what I love about what we've done with it at SPI is now we've built community and cohort around it too. So if you join us, you'll be able to see me and Caleb and my team help you along the way in this upcoming cohort. And I'll tell you more about that inside of the All Access Pass. And our goal, again, is to help you get to 1,000 subscribers if you're just starting out, or at least 2 times the growth of your existing channel. So yes, you can figure all this out on your own. That information is out there. But as I've talked about in several videos from the past, if the information alone is what you needed, you would have already succeeded. Because we want to connect you with the right people who will hold you accountable and guide you along the way. And we have what we call our All Access Pass, which is where you can get access to all of our online courses, from email marketing, webinars, podcasting, and of course, YouTube from Scratch. You get access to an active community of other like-minded creators just like you. You have access to my team to guide and support you. Some of them are even in the chat right now. Guided pathways, so no matter where you're at in your journey, we'll help you go, okay, this is the course you need next after YouTube from Scratch. You need to build your email marketing. Okay, go to Email Marketing Magic. You need to do this, go here. We got you. And then our accelerators, which has been our most successful way to teach and what we are fighting for as this new standard of how online education should be, which is classes of people that go through the same digital course together at the same time. So here are some of the courses inside of our All Access Pass. And again, you can get access to them at any time. And these courses were once sold individually for hundreds of dollars. You can see 123 Affiliate Marketing was there for $699, Email Marketing Magic $499, Heroic Online Courses for $599, A to Z Webinars $499. But I want to ask you in the chat, knowing all of that, knowing that you get access to all dozen of our courses and YouTube from Scratch, and you get the course community, and you get the accelerators, what price would you value this offer at? I mean, this is thousands of dollars worth of stuff that you can get access to for the equivalent of $66 a month. So we bill quarterly to keep you going and keep you accountable. So $199 per quarter, but $66 a month. That's your coffee every single day for what could be an incredible return on investment, and it has been for a lot of different people. In fact, YouTube from Scratch, the next accelerator begins on Thursday, June 27th. So, Caleb, might you help us by explaining exactly what an accelerator is, and I'll dive into more of how this might help people.
Yeah, I mean, tell me if this sounds familiar. You buy a course, you sign up for something, you get it for free or you pay for it, and you put it in the save for later file. You never get to it. You never get around to it. Like, if you really want to do this, what the accelerator does is, it holds you accountable, because each week there's a call, a check-in, be this far in the course, meet us on the call, get your questions answered, have conversations about what we're working through, and it'll keep you progressing through the course in a bite-sized way, so you're not just like completely overwhelmed by all the things that you could do in the course and what's next. So it'll keep you accountable, as well as, like, Pat and I will be on some of these calls. The SPI team will be there each time. And honestly, I get a lot of value from those, like, seeing all the different niches that people are working on and giving
Yeah,
feedback on, video ideas or what they're struggling with on like what to call their channel or those types of things. So if you're the kind of person that likes learning in like a classroom environment, the accelerator is a great way to go through the course and be able to talk with the teachers here or other students in the class. And even not during those weekly calls, there's the circle community where you can ask your questions, get feedback from other people too.
for sure. And the cool thing about the accelerator is it's going to be for 7 weeks. Some of our courses, when we do accelerators for them, which means, again, you go through it with other people and guidance from my team, and you get access to office hours and all those things to help you. I mean, you get fed which modules and lessons to watch per week. And essentially, you get through it by the end of the week. And if you need some help, those office hours and connections to the community and our team are there. And we have, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we are 2.5 to 3 times more likely to succeed going through it this way. In fact, Ashley in the chat right now, who is on our team, in the community team, she's designed this course from the ground up in a way to make sure and maximize our student success. So yes, you could go through this kind of stuff on your own. Of course, obviously find the information on your own. But because we structure it in this way, you are nearly 3 times more likely to succeed than doing it on your own, which is huge. And we're not just saying that. There is data. We look at it. We pay attention because we want you to succeed. This is the difference between what we do here at SPI and what some other people do who just put you into a course and say, good luck. Right? So I want you to sign up today if you're interested, because you get access to the weekly Q&A. Caleb and I will both be a part of those as you go along on your 7-week journey. We're here to help you. The kickoff call starts next Thursday, June 27th. So we want you to sign up so you can be a part of that and get ready for it. And again, from there, you're not done, because wherever you need to go next, we can point you in the right direction. And of course, if you go in and you're like, this is not for me, you can always ask for your money back. But we are that confident. We have a very low churn rate, people who leave, because this thing just knocks people's socks off. In fact, it's some of the highest completion rates that we've seen all around the board. And in order to get access to this, all you have to do is go here, smartpassiveincome.com/YouTubeFS for YouTube from scratch. Again, smartpassiveincome.com/YouTubeFS. All you have to do is go there. You'll click on Get Your Pass. And again, $199 a quarter. It's about $66 a month just for everything that you saw. And I promise you it's going to help, because it's helped so many people. David finished YouTube from scratch. The Accelerator program launched his new YouTube channel. Kenzo, as you saw earlier, saw triple his views on his existing YouTube channel. 3 videos up and out in the world today, says Casey. Anita says, I did it. It was amazing. Community building course, which was for another accelerator. Worked really, really well for her. And so again, smartpassiveincome.com/YouTubeFS. And Caleb and I couldn't be more excited to see you in there, because, again, YouTube is a huge opportunity right now. And again, it's not just about the information, because you would have done it already if you didn't need the help. And so that's why we're here. I'm so confident in that. If you aren't confident in the thing you're selling, then your audience is not going to respond to it. And so we want you to be confident when you get on the camera. We have, what else is in the course that people can look forward to? I know that you have a whole module that you did, Caleb, on editing, which I know is a portion of the YouTube process that a lot of people just despise or fear. Tell us how you make editing easier inside of the course.
Yeah, I do an example edit in the course. We actually set up an example channel in the course of like all the technical parts of like all the different boxes you have to check out, getting your banner there. You end up making an actual gardening video in the course, and I talk through how I'm editing it. So it's not just like mind dump all this information. It's like, okay, go along with us. We're going to come up with your idea for your channel. We're going to research video titles. We're going to research your niche. Like, it goes back and forth between the two of us of like who's teaching what.
Yeah.
And I tend towards the technical stuff, and you tend towards the strategy and the mindset stuff. And so people get to know us even more through the course too.
For sure. That girl got ghosted said, if we already purchased a while ago, can we jump in these lives? If you are a member of the All Access Pass, and of course SPI Pro, which is the higher level entrepreneurs in our community who also have access to the All Access Pass, yeah, you can. That's the cool thing. Any accelerators that happen, you can join if you're already a part of the group. So if you're not, we're asking you to join. If you're already in SPI Pro or the All Access Pass, we're letting you know that the accelerator starts next week, and you don't have to pay any extra to be a part of those as they go along. We want you to win. And so this is, again, really exciting because the YouTube channel opportunity is huge, and we want you to know that maybe this is a sign that it's time to sign up and really get the thing going. Plus, doing it with other people, it's like going to the gym. knowing that other people are going to be there with you going through it, asking the same questions, asking questions that you probably have yourself too. And this is not our first YouTube accelerator. Actually, what is this? Our third or fourth one even? We've had some incredible channels come out of the accelerator program. So again, we are so excited to have you be a part of this. Ashley and Kelsey, and as you can see, our whole team here is here to support you. This is why we're here. We changed our entire business model to focus around the community, what we call community-powered courses. In fact, you saw how much the courses were individually. We were making more money up front when we were selling the courses individually and just kind of letting you off on your own. And they worked for a while, but what we found is we weren't giving you the best chance to succeed by doing it just that way. But we also knew that that price was quite high if we were to ask you to pay thousands of dollars to access all these things. So our goal, and the way it becomes a win for us, even though we're losing money up front compared to what we could have had, is the retention of you inside of this community. Going through the course, getting some value, launching your YouTube channel or 2xing what you have, and then going, okay, I did something I never thought I could do before. What's next, Pat? What's next, Ashley? What's next, team? Okay, now build your email list. Here's how you do that. And everything will be there for you, hoping that you stick around for a while, in which case, okay, we generate more revenue over time, but because we earned it, not because we told you this was great and then you kind of hope and pray, right? So this is why we lower the barrier to entry, but hopefully keep you in for longer and have you be a part of this amazing community of really good, kind-hearted entrepreneurs. I think that's the one unique thing about our community, Caleb, is that we just seem to have always attracted the right people, right? Kind, service-based, respectful people. There's a lot of other entrepreneurial communities out there that aren't like that, but we seem to attract the right people. Any final words and encouragement that you could offer before we sign off here?
Yeah, I want to answer one quick question. Someone says, oh, you can do any course at any time, but the accelerators come at specific times. Yes, so
Correct.
if you sign up for All Access Pass or apply to get an SBI Pro, you'll have access to all of the courses. So you could go at your own pace through any of them. Like if podcasting is more important than YouTube right now, you could go do that. But the accelerators are these guided, this one's 7 weeks long, going through the course with a bunch of people in a cohort. And that's where we see the most success. But I would say, I think there are other people talking about like, okay, I started a channel, I've kind of let it go for a while. Can I come back to it? And it's like, yes, absolutely. You don't need to make a big announcement. It's like, I'm back to my channel. Just start making content, start being consistent. People will notice that. They'll see that you're there. Everyone understands. Life happens. Like you have loss in the family, you have kids, like whatever. People understand. Things happen. You go away, you come back, just come back, hit the ground running. But something like this, going through a cohort, going through this course can help revitalize you. Maybe sharpen the edges a little bit of what your channel is and who it's for and the content you want to make. And just try to get that hockey stick growth of the channel so you can get it to where you want it to be.
Love it. And I just put a link for the All Access Pass in case you are curious more about that in particular. And again, if you are in the All Access Pass, come join the accelerator that's coming up. The link that you see on the screen right now will take you specifically to the YouTube from Scratch component of that and the accelerator and everything that's coming up. But 7 weeks together. The other component of this is if you're a part of our community, you also get access to my office hours. I actually am hosting office hours for any member of our of any course or community that wants to come inside of our program who asks questions about anything. I mean, I am here once a week for an hour. We get through 60 to 70 questions per go, and I just burn through those to make sure that if you are hitting a hurdle of any kind, I can help you through that, even if it's not related to the course that you're in, and it could be about anything. And that's something special that that I have offered for, gosh, how long have I offered that for?
Yeah,
7 years
6
straight.
years. Yeah.
Now at this point, office hours weekly.
I
Unless
don't know
I'm
anyone
traveling.
else. Like honestly, I don't know anyone else that has online courses that weekly will get on with anyone that's ever bought a course or is in the community and will answer questions in like a lightning round fashion like you do. So like major props for you for doing that for 7 years, almost every week. I mean, you hate to cancel those. You love doing them.
Do.
They're fun. Yeah.
I had to cancel last week because I was out in Florida for an event, but unless I'm sick or traveling, it's one of my favorite things to connect with the students who have invested their time and money into our programs so I can invest back into them, because guess what? That helps me. All the questions are information of what we could do better to improve on our courses when we redo them later in our accelerators. Make sure we answer those questions. So it helps everybody. So chat, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, get into the program here. There's a link. Caleb, thank you for hanging out with me today. And, people are going to see our faces inside the course, and of course during the accelerator coming up. And would you only be a member for 7 weeks? No, Carol. 7 weeks will take you through the end of the cohort, but then you are in there, and if you need help on and guidance on, well, where should I go next? What course out of these dozens would make the most sense for you? We can guide you through that, and you would stay connected with everybody who's in the community as well. So anyway, thank you all for today. I appreciate you. And Caleb, I'll see you a little bit later. And to the team, thank you for showing up. And to everybody here, thank you for your support. I hope even if you don't take advantage of the offer that we have for you in the accelerator, which is going to be your best bet to make things happen quickly, you got something out of here that you can already implement in the channel that you already have. But we're here, and we want to help you at the start. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.